And we're live. Welcome back to the Manor Entropians. Julian McBain here. And we are back on the grind for respawn recruits and migration. So we're going to head out to our zone here. When I spawned into Cape Corinth, happened to run into Raven Jade. She was just on her way out of the system, out of the game, so hopefully we'll find some content by her. If you're not subscribed to Raven Jade, you gotta go subscribe to Raven Jade. She puts out some good content. She has a lot of good content from a while ago, and she's just started making content again recently. Highly recommend. Okay. Let's start hunting, shall we? You know, it's funny, my plan was to have all of my goals laid out so I could read them on stream today, and of course I kind of spaced it because I'm drain bred some days. But that's okay. So I know that there are people who watch this that are probably watching right now that have the ability to hold me accountable. So for God's sake, please hold me accountable and make sure I do my job and set out my goals so I can read them on Friday. That way I'm not a hypocrite. I try not to be a hypocrite. Sometimes life does get away from me though, and I need to take responsibility for that. Hi, cat. But yeah, no, it was my goal to have my goals laid out so I could read them on stream today. And well, here's the excuse, right? This is the alibi. And I know it's an alibi. Thank you, cat. And I know it's an excuse. But I got home and found out the new knife board was set up. We had done most of it on Sunday. My son and my old man had finished putting it together today after my son got home from school. And so my son and I went out and we spent a good hour throwing knives. And then I pulled out my axe and I threw the axe a few times, and he pulled out, my father has some shuriken, so like throwing stars that he bought way back in the 80s, back when, you know, ninja movies were really popular. And my son tried throwing some of those. We discovered very quickly that they're kind of hard to find in the grass. So I need to take some weed killer to where we set the board up and weed whack it all down and probably mow it really good. Because, yeah, we don't want to lose those throwing stars. Good for you, Jay. Outstanding. You know, where is my briefcase up here? No, I left it downstairs. If I had my notebook up here, I actually have a copy of generally what my goals are. They've changed a little bit due to life circumstances, but the majority of them are the same. Where's my other notebook? I have an older notebook. All right, all my stuff down in notebooks, all my quotes, all my goals. I need to update my goals, and I need to remember to repeat them on a daily basis. There's my 12 rules, or not 12 rules, my Think and Grow Rich version, which strictly relies on, you know, where I financially plan to be. but doesn't really break it down very well. It's been a while since I've gone through this notebook. My first notebook I keep on my bookshelf within arm's reach. And it's where I started really curating my content. I've got notes in here for various things I've said and done, quotes that I find very important. You know, the quotes that I use for McBain moments, I write them down in a notebook, and I always have it there for reference when I'm doing the McBain moment. And I started it with this little notebook, and maybe someday I'll like type up all of the notes and probably put them on my Patreon, just so y'all can see what goes through my head. Like this one is actually one of my quotes, and I'd kind of forgotten about it. It's I'm in life to win, but who am I competing against? I'm competing against life. That's not a bad idea, Cat. Glow-in-the-dark tape. Or paint. Either one. Ah, this is the first one. Oh, Jesus. Boy, they really have changed, haven't they? Okay, you know what, Cat? I am going to do exactly what you say for a change. So, I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. And I have the notebook. The notebook which I have not actually put goals in since I think I started this notebook, which is really, really bad. Like, my first 2 pages were goals. After that, well, that's when 2020 started. You can imagine what happened there. But these were my goals at the beginning of the year. I have 10 million US dollars cash and assets. I am free of all student debt. I am an icon of my industry. I have 13 million YouTube subscribers. I'm amongst the most skilled and respected fencing instructors in the known world. And 2 of them which I have laid aside. Hey Scotty, how's it going? So, that's what they were at the beginning of the year. I got to go back through and really consider what else or what additional, what replaced the 2 goals that I laid aside. All y'all in chat, what are your goals in life? And if you could take a moment, please, and just smash the like button, that would be greatly appreciated. And maybe share this video out to your favorite social media. That would also be appreciated. Realized I forgot one of my platforms. Gotta make sure I'm posting to the Entropia Universe Facebook page. I know they're big, but if you don't think big... Yeah, Scotty, what are your goals? For this year, for your life, whatever. What are you currently working on? What is your grand quest? That goes for Jay and Kat, too, and Kenrick. I know you're probably hiding in the back there. Kat, was the litany against fear in the original Duna? Because I can't remember. I'm sure it was. I can't remember. It's been a hot minute since I've read it. Which, of course, the book is sitting right next to me, but I'm not going to go digging through the pages right away. Those are some good goals there, Jay. Those are excellent goals to have. And that's a fair timeline for finding that apartment, especially in the current environment. Jay, are you able to do your saber drills with your Dawn on the regular? Oh, yes. Now I remember the litany against fear. Paul Atreides had to repeat it constantly, if I remember correctly, as part of his training. Isn't that correct? That is an outstanding litany. It's something that we should all internalize. Scotty, all I got out of that was and whatever else I want to do. So I think a couple of your messages may not have come through. Did anyone else see Scotty's stuff? Jade, there's no such thing as reaching too far in a goal. It's expecting to make a stretch in too short a time. Never change the goal. Just accept the timeline it's going to take to achieve that goal. Jay, I strongly recommend, if you haven't read them yet, read Think and Grow Rich, which is all about mindset. Even though he focuses on money, it's really all about mindset. And then immediately after that, read the 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And yes, Kat, that would be an excellent mind focus. You know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're afraid of something, you should probably be doing it. And of course, I don't mean doing stupid things, but the things that you know will push you to get to the next level. If you're afraid of doing them, that's what you should be doing next. Do the things you dislike first. No, Scotty. The only things I've seen is you posted about next year, and then you posted about whatever else you want to do, and then did you see the message? I think YouTube's being mean to you, Scotty. Does YouTube still allow you to send if you're over character limit? Maybe that's the issue, is that you're hitting character limit and YouTube's not warning you, and it's just dumping the whole message instead of saying, hey, you can't do it. You know, at first I thought that was I saw 556 and I'm just like, wait, 556? I was thinking ammo, not pad. Ugh. That is a good goal to have, Cat. One I am guilty of on a regular basis, as you know. Those are excellent goals, Scotty. What is your YouTube goal? He's gonna say it's 13 million and one, but no, seriously, what's your YouTube goal? You know, something I've contemplated doing, I don't know how the format would work though, whether I do it in Entropia Universe or in Fallout 76 or what would work best. I've got the setup in Fallout 76, but fewer people play that I interact with in Entropia. Well, it's about 50-50 now. But doing like a podcast, like I've tried the whole podcasting format, like the formal podcasting format. But I really just want to talk to folks, right? I tried doing the solo podcasting thing. It doesn't really work for me. But I was thinking more along the lines of like a Rubin report, where you interview folks, or maybe get a couple of regulars together and we do like a Timcast thing, where you just chat about current events, although in this case I don't want to talk about modern events. I want to talk about the game, right? And if I think that the Entropia platform is the better option for that, because I could pick up an apartment, I could set up a table, be kind of studio-esque, and you can create a free avatar, get through the hour of tutorial, do the interview, and not worry about having to spend any money, because of course I could always pick you up and transport you wherever you need to go. And I think that would be a really cool thing to do. I just don't know if it would, like, for me, because of my life, the way it is right now, I might have to wait till, like, my son is older, maybe graduated, things like that. But being able to make it so I can arrange for those interviews, create that podcast, is something that I don't know I can do at this point in my life. But that is kind of an out there goal I would love to do. Yeah, Whispers, what are your personal goals? $10,000 is an outstanding goal, Scotty. I appreciate that, Jay. It's good to know that it helps to pick up your drive and motivate you. I have to admit, there are some days that I do the McBain moments and I wonder if... And I know that everyone tells me that they enjoy them and that they're well received. I just... It's good to hear. I appreciate it. At this rate, Scotty, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Which one of you is gonna go first? Ha! I see Whispers is on the seafood diet. If they see it, they're eating it. Either that or it's dinner time. Oh, it occurs to me I accidentally put has begun in my title again. Oh, wait, I can't change it there anyway. Can I change my title? I can change my title. Damn. Learn something new about YouTube every day. Global 50 ped. I'll take it. I will not complain about 50 ped. No siree. That is $5. It's like, you've been playing for a long time. Here, have a $5 bill. Thank you, Mindark. What are you going to do with that $5 bill? Oh, turn it into more ammo so I can keep playing your game. Because I'm a masochist. I can't... I joke, but I do love this game. Otherwise, I wouldn't be playing it all the time. But I do, because it's just... It's a great allegory for a digital version of real life. It really is. And that may sound strange, but think about it. You go to your job, you grind it out. You learn the skills, you get better, you're still grinding it out. You make some dosh, you put it in, you reinvest it in other things, like, you know, your home, your food, your dogs and cats, you know, whatever. And you go back and do it again. No, 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 no. How are we doing for loot? Let's see, we are at 800 ped and ammo left. We've got 1.4 to 142 ped in shrap, 26 ped in kidney oil, 4 ped in fine wool, and fine hide is 450. So we're not doing terrible. I think that global put us up just a skosh. Pretty soon I'm going to have to go back to Lore Spade's shop and give him some of my ped. Hopefully those other two LB35s are still there. Wars has been getting a lot of my money lately. But I'd much rather be buying my items off a friend than off the auction house. Yeah, so I transitioned from goals, and one of my goals is to eventually create like an in-game podcast, Whispers. That's where that came from. And I don't know if I do it within EU or if I'd use Fallout 76, because I'm already set up to do it in Fallout 76, but any guests that come on in that game have to already own the game, and that costs money. Whereas Entropia Universe is free to play. They spend the hour in the tutorial, which admittedly is a chunk of time, and then I could just hop them to wherever my apartment is and set it up there and do that. Of course, I don't have an apartment right now, and the place I want to buy apartments, unfortunately, they go for like $200 US a piece. And that would be on Monria, where the apartments are absolutely huge. Which means I could have a dedicated studio space away from the rest of the apartment, or aside from it. And do kind of like a Ruben Report-esque or a Timcast-esque type podcast. Let's see what that was. Level 18 in the electrokinetic damage profession. Which I know is because of other factors, but it's kind of weird when you get the rank up in electrokinesis when you've been throwing fireballs around. It does. It does sound... I think it would be a lot of fun. I think it would be an amazing time. It's just, there's a lot of logistics that go into it. That might be something for like a secondary channel. I would probably need more than just me. I'd probably have to come up with a team for that. Which I am in no position to put together right now. But I do think it would be cool. So, I do want to say thank you so much. We got 8 people in this right now. I want to thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight. I'm just going to ask you to please hit the like button if you haven't already. If you think that I'm worthwhile to like. Or if you don't like what I'm doing, go ahead and hit the dislike just so I know that, you know, I need to make some improvements. And then if you also really like what I'm doing, please consider hitting the share and sharing it to your social media so other people know that I'm doing this. You know, that really helps to spread the word. It overcomes the algorithm and helps me to expand my viewer base. So I really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, in the corner of the screen there, you see my arms. It's the wolf on the ermine. It's that white, black, and blue thing in the lower corner. If you can click the subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated as well. That's a good question, Scotty. Let me just, give me just a second, and then I will answer that question. Okay, I won't address the thing that Jay just posted. So... my ped flow is okay. I have actually done really well this year, especially compared to last year. Currently, I am down about 965 ped, but that does not include all of my possessions. That's just... there are things that... oh, no, it does include it. Shit. Right. It does include all my possessions. I do know that it's not 100% accurate, but it's like 95% accurate. But yes, as of yesterday, I am down 965 ped for the year, which isn't terrible. Last year, hang on while I scroll through the long ass thing. Last year I ended the year down 6,811 ped. So I'm doing a hell of a lot better. Can't believe how much I dumped into this game last year. Holy shit. That's why my channel's doing as well as it is, though, because I was willing to make that investment. I'm currently holding on to 87 Arcadia Underground deeds, 50 Arcadia Moon deeds, and 177 Crystal Palace Station shares. And I'm sure you can extrapolate what my ped flow is from those. I'm usually able to pick up like 2 Crystal Palace shares a month. I did have one really good month, not last month, but the month before, where I got so much because we had some really good days in Arcadia Underground, like triple and quadruple days, where I was able to actually pick up another Arcadia Underground deed. So I'm happy to say that I'm not on track to lose nearly as much as I did last year. I've also been playing a lot less. Or I should say I've been playing much more judiciously. Like if I go into a span where I'm going to be playing a lot, I don't go after the things that are at my level per se. I go to Orthos and I hunt things that are low level, so I'm not burning through ammo all the time. Because I put 800 ped in a month last year, and I can't sustain that this year. Life changed, things are different. I don't have the cash flow to dump 800 ped in a month, and although it wasn't universally true last year, that was pretty much my investment. So yes, I do actually, and my first goal was 1 ped a day, and I think I am now averaging that if you across all of the items I have. I do want to get up to where I'm getting 1 ped a day just from Arcadia Underground deeds, but my biggest goal, like if you want to talk about like my pie in the sky goal, I want to concentrate one of the things in Entropia universe, whether it's Arcadia Underground, Arcadia Moon, Crystal Palace, and just like be like the dominating investor in that one segment. So like I could conceivably do Ancient Greece. I don't know that I trust Ancient Greece enough for it to be worth it, although there are plenty of people over there, including Bonnie. Bonnie Knight is spending a lot of time on Ancient Greece. Bonnie Knight is a Twitch streamer who I have watched some of her stuff. She puts out good stuff. Unfortunately, she streams at a time where it's inconvenient for me to watch it because she's in Scotland and I'm in America. So that doesn't work out so well. But the content she puts out that I have seen is really good. So if you're on Twitch, consider following or subscribing to her. You know, Jeff, I'd agree with you, but the crafters don't use enough of the stuff they've already put into the game and done that for clothing. They keep doing the same things because they burn out or run out of money before they can get to where they're putting out new stuff. So I think if we had some dedicated crafters that were willing to invest the time and the ped... Oh, hi. That's Longtooth Butt right there. It's not quite cat butt, but you can see it from there. I think that if our crafters started producing the more rare blueprints, like there's a suit, there's like a tux in the game that you can get blueprints for, and it's hard to find. The last person that offered to sell me one wanted something like $100 or $200 US for the set, And I'm just like, can't do that. Sorry. And it's because it was so ridiculously rare. They probably could have gotten it from most people. I don't have that kind of cash for a suit. Not in a game. I spend that kind of cash on a real suit that I use for my job. Okay? In fact, the suit that I use in my McBain moments probably cost me less than that. Although it's been too warm for me to wear the jacket. It's been a warm year. Which is why I haven't been wearing the jacket for the McBain moments lately. It's nothing to do with not wanting to. It's just... when it's 80 degrees by like 8 o'clock a.m., you just can't. You know, I don't live in Florida. I live in Vermont. I'm not used to heat like that. And I lived in the Badlands where I could get away with it because it was dry. It's not dry in Vermont. It is moist. Like, you're breathing water by noon. Damp. I'm very thankful we don't have cottonwoods in the state, but all of the rain really aggravates the allergies. But it's just extremely humid here in Vermont, especially when compared to the Midwest where I used to live. And I can't. That's why you're getting the rolled up sleeves and the vest. That's how I work all day long during the summer and a good chunk of the winter. So, fun fact about fishing. I don't know why Mindark has never put fishing in this game. But Virtueverse, the demand was so high for fishing in Virtueverse, which is the real cash economy game that I am, full disclosure, I am a backer of that game. I am a playtester of that game. You will see it come out when EA4 comes out. I will be in that game for that time period. In the middle of a test run, they patched in fishing by popular demand. And so they offered this platform. They needed people to test it. They wanted people to know what it was doing. And everyone was fishing. And maybe that's why Mindark hasn't put fishing in. Because they know that people would just stop doing everything else. And just fish. I mean, they could make it so that it was at least zero sum, you know, sell bait that you need in order to fish, and your turn on pet or use universal ammo, you know, just like everything else. Virtueverse.io, you sign up there and then you're in the Discord and you can find me there. Scotty. And yes, Kat, there are rattlesnakes in Vermont, although they are few and far between, thankfully. The timber rattlers don't like to come out of their hidey holes. There are also other megafauna. There are not other megafauna, but there are megafauna that get really interesting. You know, everyone knows about the bear that we have here, and of course we've got coyotes, the occasional wolf, which I have run into one in person. That was an interesting experience when I was like 12. I wish I had known what was happening at the time. But we also have cats. In fact, I've got one that's roaming somewhere around my property. Or I should say my folks' property, but I mean, we got one roaming around out there. Not huge. It's like a bobcat or a lynx-sized animal, but we got a cat down there somewhere, and we have seen what Vermonters call a catamount. What other places call a puma or mountain lion. There is one roaming around the general vicinity. Now, that being said, a cat that size has like a 100-mile radius, and Vermont ain't that wide. So take that with a grain of salt. It's probably wandering 2 different states. We do have our fair share of dangerous fauna. Nothing like Australia. But we do have dangerous fauna. You know, I do agree with you to a certain extent, Scotty. Video game fishing is king. For some reason, I'm not a big fan of fishing in real life. I don't know why. My son loves it. My brother loved it. My old man loves it. My mother loves it. I've never been a huge fisher. Fisher. I've never been a huge angler or fisherman. Just not my thing. My grandfather... I'm pretty sure when my grandfather died, his vision of heaven was standing in a river fly fishing for, like, eternity. And I'm pretty sure if heaven exists, I'm pretty sure that's what he did until the day my grandmother died. It's just stood in the river and fly fished. Because I know he did fly fishing, he did other river fishing. Like, New England river fishing is different from fly fishing. You stick the worm on the hook and you drop it in the brook and... You know, you kind of keep it going and you move it a little bit, kind of like fly fishing, but you don't whip it out of the water or anything like that. We still have giant fluffy murder nopes. I could have sworn that catamounts and mountain lions were a type of puma. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I mean, you know... but that's good to know. I just, for some reason, I thought they were the same. Are pumas a species or a genus? No, not puma.com, Google. I want the Wikipedia article on the cat. It's a cougar. Oh, it's a cougar, not a puma. Yeah, it is a puma. Puma concolor. So puma's a genus. Not a species. You know what, Jay? I am right there with you. I am right there with you. This is why I live in the woods on the side of a big hill. I have a shooting range in my backyard. That is not an exaggeration. Hey, Kenrick. So I think in all of Vermont, and this is not technically confirmed, but the day that my old man's looking at the window, I was like 17 years old, and my mother was about to walk the dog out in our field, and my dad called for me to grab the binoculars, and he looked out there, and he told my mother she was not walking the dog right that second, because there was something big and brown kind of bedded out in the field out there. And there was cat sign when it finally moved on, and the cat's paws were big. But there's probably only 2 of them in the whole freaking state. And then we have bobcats and I'm assuming some particular species of lynx that are semi-uncommon, but they're out here. They're great for taking care of the vermin. But bobcats won't attack you. Like, if you see a bobcat in your life, you're super lucky, because they're not going to attack you. They're going to avoid you like the plague. Because as far as they're concerned, you're a dangerous predator. You're not prey. You're a predator to them, as far as they're concerned. So, I don't know if you can call a bobcat a nope kitten. Frankly, in my opinion, it's just a big house cat. if I thought I could get away with it, because Vermont law is kind of against it a lot, I'd consider laying out some food and going out and, you know, I have a thing about danger floofs, like murder floofs. I like big cats. I do. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, I'm the guy who went to the North Dakota Zoo, saw the big Kodiak bear, and thought that bear really wants a hug. Which is ironic because, in fact, when that bear finally passed away about 2 years later, come to find out, it loved hugs from the zookeepers, and it was extremely docile. A Kodiak bear. Think about how big a Kodiak bear is, okay? Like, it stood at the withers, at its shoulder. It was probably about as tall as I was on all fours. This thing was enormous. I have a thing for murder floofs. What can I say? Jay, the kangaroo's not going to box you. It's just going to kick you in the face. Although, there was that video of a guy who, the kangaroo had his dog in a headlock, so he punched the kangaroo right in the head. I can't believe they fired him from the zoo. That really sucked. Got 11 viewers. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. I know, we've got some really weird topics of conversation going on right now, but if you could do me a favor and just hit that like button for me, it would be really... No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Smash the like button for me. It would be really appreciated. And yes, I'm going to continue saying that until I get a cease and desist from Tim Pool or Adam Kriegler. Yes, all the murder mittens. I mean, like... This is how much I love large cats. I'm on Twitter, I follow, and there's another reason for this too that we won't get into, but on Twitter I follow an account it's like the Hourly Tiger, and it posts pictures of tigers every hour on the like clockwork. Let me see if I can't... I don't know if I can find that particular one right off the bat. No, everyone's talking about bubonic plague and squirrels. Twitter's a weird place, guys. I'm telling you. Like, I spend a lot of time on it because of my job. It's literally part of my job to manage social media for my company. Or for the business I work for. So I do spend an inordinate amount of time on social media. But Twitter is just a bizarre-ass place. Which, you can find me there. At Julian McBain. You can also find me on Facebook. At McBain Manor is my page. If you want to go ahead and like that page, it would be appreciated. Find me on all the social media platforms. Yes, that's exactly how I'd frickin' describe them too, Scotty. A mix between humans, deer, and spring-loaded kicking machines. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? That is like the perfect mechanical description of a kangaroo. Yeah, tell me about it. My ex-mother-in-law frickin' was stationed in Australia, and she ended up kicking a rat that was the size of a small dog. Although I have to admit, you know, Americans look at Australia because you have some really unique fauna. But in that discussion we had on your, it was a live stream. What was it? 2 weeks ago? 3? I think the United States has more dangerous megafauna. Although I think you have far more poisonous things than we do, or venomous things than we do. Let's get technical here. Jay, I would not want a wolf as a pet, but as a companion, as a friend, I would totally be there. That's why it's part of my arms. Like, if someone told me I could make what I make now, or what I made at my previous business, my previous job, and all I have to do is tend wolves, understanding all the danger that comes with tending you know, predators, I'd be on that like white on rice. Seriously. It's like, here, tend wolves for the rest of your life for what you make. And I'd be like, hell yeah. Ha! You want to know something funny about bears, Scotty? This is going to make you laugh. In the continental US, not Alaska. Alaska's its own thing. All we have are black bears. I mean, we have cinnamon bears, but they're still black bears. Black bears are more afraid of you than you are of them under most circumstances. I think there are some grizzlies in Montana. There are none in Vermont, where I live. But as long as you're not between the bear and its cubs, it'll leave you the hell alone. Like, I've seen videos of black bears climb trees just to sniff at people in tree stands. Usually they're taking pictures, but sometimes they're hunting deer. But yeah, no. Bear's gonna leave you alone. You're not food for it. You're just curiosity. Now, that being said, that bear is still 400 pounds, so if you piss it off, it's gonna run you down. Although I will say, a black bear can run 32 miles an hour. I guarantee, if I'm being chased, I will be running 33. Yeah, Jay, I don't make no 6 figures, not by a long shot. I only wish I was making 6 figures. If I was making 6 figures, I would not be in the debt I'm in. And Kat, you nailed it right on the head. Is that people who take care of large animals, even predators, which is hazardous to say the least, because you never know when, you know, they're still predators. You have to respect them. They don't make a lot of money. Because, well, and frankly, there's a good reason for it. It's because taking care of predators is not an overly in-demand skill. And okay, dude, this guy here, thank you. Skills are paid by how in demand they are. It's part of the supply and demand curve. Yeah, Whispers, I'm pretty much in the same position. Although, the question remains, do you move it to the left or the right? Because I gotta move the decimal point to the right one digit to make 6 figures. If you gotta move it to the left 1 digit, I love to know what you do for a job. Okay, so you're just like me, and most of the people here, and actually probably everyone in this chat. Actually, I can't guarantee that. For all I know, there's someone with like $1 million watching my stream for whatever reason. That'd be kind of cool, actually. So I know for a fact I've got my buddy Scotty, who's from Oz, and most of the rest of the people that I'm seeing I know are in the United States. But if you're not in the US, other than Scotty, where are you from? I'd love to know, like, where is the stream reaching? God bless it. Are we finally running short on Longtooth? Hey, construction is a noble profession, my friend. It absolutely is. Physically, Whispers, preferably. Vermont, California. Kenrick, I know you're in Vermont, smartass. Although I did ask, that's my bad. Okay, no, that's legit. That's legit. Here, Longtooth, Longtooth, Longtooth. Gotta find the migration trail. Which I think is along this for this portion. We got some enemies up here, but are they Longtooth or are they other creatures? Geez, in New York. Which actually brings up a good point. Okay. I need like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, Alex. Yeah, what is going on, man? And while we're at it, what's your country of origin? Oh, geez. Have you been tested? Good luck, man. Hopefully it's not COVID. And if it is, speedy recovery, my friend. Arizona. So we got people from all over the US and one person from Oz. I really appreciate knowing where my stream reaches, believe it or not. Like when I go to my website, I check out the people like my written works that are at mcmainmanor.com. I get a lot of people from like Finland reading it, which surprised the hell out of me. A lot of Russians too, which is really curious. Not compared to people from the States, but even then, it's not a huge stretch because it'll be like one person from Russia versus 3 people from the States in a given week. Considering my origins in the States, not a big surprise. The loot's doing okay. I haven't checked it in a hot minute. I've gone through about 300 ammo. I've got 2.87 back, 58 ped and kidney oil, 8 in wool, 1.2 in rationalizers, and 10.75 in... I'm probably breaking even overall. In just ammo to loot. And then you have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The amp. I'm probably losing overall in the amp. But other than that, the loot's doing really well. Hopefully we'll get another, global before the end of the night. And yeah, Alex, take care of yourself. Don't overdo it. That would be awesome. The only HOF I ever got was during a... No, that's not entirely accurate. The only solo HOF I've ever gotten, I got off of a video. It was during Merry Mayhem, not this past year, but the year before. And it was 800 frickin' ped. I about cried because I had literally finished a video not half an hour before. I was pissed. I was like, I got a HOF! I'm not recording! Fuck my life. But who knows? Maybe my Mind Arc will maybe Ludius will smile upon me and all of us, and I will get a Hall of Fame right on video while y'all are watching. That would be awesome. A HOF means a Hall of Fame, which if you give me just a minute, I can remember where I frickin' bound that particular key to. Ah, there it is. Hall of Fame. In the last 24 hours, the largest loot taken in the game was worth 11,307 ped. For those of you playing the home game, that's 1,100 US dollars in a single loot by a single person. And all time, oh my god, the highest loot ever collected in Entropia universe off an individual mob was done by Alan Crom Allen, a Mulman Looter Elite, with a value of 331,968 ped. That's 33,000 US dollars in a single loot. I want you to think about that for a second. It was in 2013, in October. He made $33,000 off this game. William Blake is amazing. You know, Alex, you never know. Maybe he did. Or maybe he bought a mothership. Honestly, if I looted 33 grand in this game, I just set it aside quietly. I'd probably take it off my ped card and save it as like coin. So for those of you who don't know, you can do this bit. Extract ped. You can just like peel 100 ped off it, and there, I got 100 ped in coin. Right there. View information, that's what it looks like. It's currency. This is cash. To add it, I just kind of drag and drop it back onto the ped card. Not a big deal. Whoops. So that, you know, if they were a content creator, if I was a content creator, I'd have peeled the majority off as cash ped, dropped it in my storage so no one knew I had it, because you don't want people going to mooch off you. I would have bought a land area. You buy a land area, you spend 4 hours a day working it, maybe, and that shit pays for itself in 2 to 3 years. If you're doing the right things. So yeah, if I got an all-time high that was like 33,000 US dollars, I wouldn't cash that shit out. Be like, okay, time to buy myself a land area. I'm a new baron. New land baron here in Entropia universe. Okay, that is perfectly fair. I think I've done a number of McBain moments on William Blake's quotes. And Alex, the reason why that I wouldn't cash out and I would instead look at doing like a land area, the single HOF is awesome, right? You could pull out 30 grand and that's a huge, it's like winning the lottery, right? But if you drop it into a land area, that's an evergreen money machine, my friend. It is producing income for you for the rest of your life as long as you keep working it. The average land area in this game is like $17,000, and you make about half of that, between a third and a half of that back every year. Shit, in 3 years you're in the money. You are in the money. It would become my job cap, but at the same time, in a certain way, my hobby is already my job. I just don't make a lot of money doing it. You know, I make $5 a month. Thank you, Red Kryptonite. It's not like it's not like turning the SCA into my job. Like, I've actually considered giving fencing lessons for pay. Right? I mean, of course, there'd be an initial investment. I gotta buy equipment to teach people. I gotta get the insurance, all that wonderful stuff. I am a HEMA member, so that would help. But I don't want that to be my source of income. If I could make money in this specific game, I would understand, because of all of the other work I do. Like, I spend my weekends splitting wood. I haul things around. I do other work that would keep me from getting complacent, would stop me from getting, like, bored. I wouldn't have a huge issue changing my career to being a professional content creator. Is it going to happen? Well, we'll see. So far, I've been doing it 2.5 years, and I have 403 subscribers. They're hard-earned. I appreciate the fact they're hard-earned. So maybe this will always be a side hustle, but I'm cool with that. And if I could do something like manage a land area, it's no different than managing apartments in real life, which is something I've considered doing if I could ever get the capital to start it. I'd be cool with it. Is it for everyone? Hell no. I am going to say that up front. It is absolutely not for everyone. It might not be for you. It might not be for, you know, my son, who is much more hands-on on things than I am. And I know that right from the get-go. I mean, he wants to start a YouTube channel, and he's going to in December. Because I know, like, the instant he turns 13, he's going to be like, time to start doing it. But, he likes working with his hands more than I do. Which is saying something, because I really like working with my hands. But, nah, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Interesting you should mention that, Alex, because when looking for a home, and again, this isn't for everyone, but something I've read a lot of, and it's because I read people like Grant Cardone, is you should never buy a house with only one door. And what that means is, if you're buying your first home, make it a duplex. Because the rent you charge on a Malfoy Bandit, no shit. The rent you charge on the apartment that's attached to it can pay a solid chunk of your mortgage, if not all of it. So, like, when I eventually... There are two thoughts I have about houses. If I build a house, I'm probably going to go tiny home style. My issue is that I'm the type of person who wants, like, the mansion. Except I don't make mansion income, so I'd want to have a tiny home that feels like a mansion. I have yet to figure that shit out. And I have to admit that up front. Like, I've looked at, like, Japanese-style architecture. You can do a lot with Japanese-style architecture because they make a lot with small spaces. And it's mostly because they have a lot of rooms that have multi-purpose rooms. Like, the typical Japanese apartment is what they call a 6 tatami mat apartment. A tatami mat is 6 feet by 3 feet. And so you're talking... Oh, cripes. No, I don't want my settings. Calculator. There it is. So you're talking like 108 square feet for the main space, then you have a small kitchen and a bathing area. Call it a 400 square foot apartment by comparison. It's probably not that big, but for the sake of argument, right? But because of the way that their very culture operates, you have the futon, and the futon you lay out, you sleep in it during the night. During the morning, you roll the futon up. And yes, I'm pronouncing it that way for a very specific reason, because if I've got my F sound down correctly, that's how it's pronounced in Japanese. Fu, not fu, but futon. And then you have a kotatsu, which is or a standard low table, which you flip up into a corner when you're not using it. So you're using the same space as a place to eat, as a place to relax. They tend to sit on the floor because the tatami mats are soft enough. You've got the pillows you can sit on as kind of a chair. It's a very interesting culture. I've done a lot of research into it. And the kotatsu, I would love a kotatsu. Oh my god, I'd invite all my friends over. Because a kotatsu is a table where it has a heater in it, right? And it's a low table, so you're sitting on the floor on pillows. And it's got a heater in the middle to keep you all warm. And it's got a blanket over the between the tabletop and the underpiece to keep all your legs warm. And then there's a type of dish called nabe, where you take a hot plate and it's in the middle, and you boil this pot, and you put the meats and the vegetables and all of that stuff in it, and you're cooking this hot pot while you eat it. And it's this whole experience where you and your friends are just munching on hot pot, and you got the dip, and you're all talking, and it's just an experience. I really want to do that sometime, but this is why I've looked into like Japanese architecture. Can I create a tiny home using Japanese architecture? Because they're able to do more with less, right? You can have that feeling of larger home with a smaller space. My problem is that as a content creator, as with the type of stuff I have, I'm not sure that would work for me. Like, I could live on, like, the sleeping on the futon and eating at the low table, that all works fine. I have no problem with that. But, like, the computer desk and the chair, I have my chair, which you all see in my McBain moments. It's a big lazy boy, which I bought on sale at Staples like 3 years ago when the chair I had previous to that died because I was reading in it one day, and I read one Sunday when I was living in North Dakota. I read the whole frickin' day. I was reading Negima, which is one of my favorite mangas. And that's when I realized the back had no padding or support anymore because my back wasn't paying. And so the following week I went out and bought a chair. And it was about, I saved up, I had the money saved up. I spent about $400 on it. It was the big Lazy Boy office chair. It was on sale at Staples. But if, you know, when you're dealing with like tiny home spaces, every square inch has to be efficiently used. And I'm here to tell you, as much as I love this chair, the words "this chair" and "efficient space usage" do not belong together in a sentence without the word "not" between them. If you catch my drift. It takes up a pretty good piece of floor space. But I have looked into tiny homes. And again, tiny homes, the other thing about tiny homes is they're really hard to deal with children. Because children need space. Even in today's age, they need places to play. Tiny homes aren't really designed with that in mind. Which is unfortunate, but it is the case. We're down to about 8 minutes for tonight's stream. Tuesdays I can't extend the stream out any because of, you know, I have a literal 9 to 5. But We've had some... I think we've been doing pretty good tonight. Yeah, we've got about the same amount of ammo we started out with once you account for the 101. Got some good loot. Holy crap, 68 pedant animal kidney oil. I just wish there was a markup on it. Every year at this time, this stuff drops like a stone. And you know, if I could spare it, I would just hold it until after migration. Like, just dump pet in, hold it till after migration, and when the price goes back up, I'm sitting on a friggin' stockpile of it, right? Inevitably, I've generally had to, like in past years, I've just TT'd it for the cash so I can repair my armor and my amps and shit. We'll see what happens this year. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to have the cash flow to dump the ped to create the ped flow to do it, but we'll take a look. I do agree with you, Alex. Tiny home living has a lot of potential. There's a couple of things that I need to stipulate when it comes to tiny homes that I think that a lot of people don't think of. Tiny homes tend to be very dependent on a number of factors. For instance, children in tiny homes may not work. Tiny homes are very, very new. They're usually with couples that are not, or they're either singletons or couples that are not with children. There are a few that do have children who have resolved that, but understand that you're talking about a very small space. It's less than 400 square feet. I believe that's the definition of a tiny home, is less than 400 square feet. They're basically mobile homes or manufactured when you come right down to the style of living, which is not something I like. I would want to build it directly on like a pad or a basement of some sort. Which might violate the square footage rules for tiny homes, and so it may no longer be classified as one. A lot of places disallow square footage that small. If you have an upper floor, generally speaking, it's a loft and it's very small and the ceiling is not head height. So you're stooped or you're crawling. Being able to multi-use space is always part of it. And I'm not denigrating tiny homes. Like, I love the idea of tiny homes. And I saw one that was an effing castle. Okay? This tiny ass castle on wheels. But here's the other thing. A lot of tiny homes, in fact, I would say the majority of them rely on a lot of outdoor living. In a lot of places, you can't live outdoors year-round. Like where I live, there's no way in hell you can live outdoors year-round. You can do a lot of outdoor shit, but you're not going to want to eat out in the cold every day. Because it gets chilly in Vermont. And, you know, 20 below zero is a thing that exists in Vermont. And where I lived before this, during the summer, it's 105. Well, I can't say that. I grew up in Vermont. I lived in North Dakota and Montana in between there somewhere. In the harshest environment I ever lived in, it was Glendive, Montana. It's a tiny-ass town in the middle of the Badlands, which is basically desert that gets snow. And it's not sand. The ground is as hard as freaking concrete. Here is how hard the ground gets. We were setting up the boundaries of a fighting ring using rebar. For those of you who don't know what rebar is, it's basically a steel pole that you can use for various things. It's in concrete to keep it all together well. Give me a second, I can find out the very definition of rebar. It's literally reinforcing bar is what it means, and it's steel. Okay, so it's steel. And we were going to use this rebar, and then because it was spare, just spare ass rebar. And we were going to just hammer it into the ground and wrap line around it. And that was going to be the ring to fight the sword fight in. We take the rebar, we set it on the ground, and hit it with the sledge, and it bounces. It bounces off the ground with a sledgehammer hitting it. We had to use a tractor to drive the rebar into the ground using its bucket and the pressure from the hydraulics to drive it into the ground. That's how hard the friggin' ground gets out there, okay, guys? These are the Badlands. It gets 105 during the summer. It gets to negative 45 in the winter. When the ground is hard, it's concrete, and when the ground is soft, you'll sink. We're talking a harsh-ass environment. And I lived there for 7 years. But you can't live outside during the winter. You can't do outdoor dining. You can't do outdoor anything. You're stuck inside. You got your furnace going. And if you're lucky, you got the little fireplace going, I'm living off my television for the next 7 months. Vermont's not a lot better. It's just a shitload more snow. But if you're in like Texas or Arizona or something like not even Arizona, because Arizona gets stupid hot. You got deserts, like honest to God deserts in Arizona. But like California, you could live outdoor year round in a lot of places in California. You do the outdoor living thing, then tiny homes absolutely make sense. Florida, except during hurricane season, when the hurricanes will kind of, you know, pick up your tiny home and toss it in the neighboring town. Let's face it, California and Guam are the only places where outdoor living year-round really can work. But I love the idea of tiny homes. People are tuning in out there and they're like, what the fuck is he talking about? Speaking of which, if all y'all who haven't done so already, please consider hitting the like button. It would be appreciated. But my friends, it is 10:30, and that means it is time to pack it in. Thank you. There we go. Like, is it not gonna let me do it? Yes, Whispers, you can absolutely do it in Hawaii. Hawaii is an interesting place. Like, there's a lot of unique things in Hawaii. I would love to visit Hawaii. Believe it or not, I'm one of those psychos who wants to go to the volcano there. There are people who can run up the volcano like barefoot. I would totally give that a shot. And I'm the guy, like, I look at some of the videos you get like out of China, and the people that are walking on these suspension bridges that are like 1,000 feet in the frickin' air, and I'm like, nope. You want to run on lava? Sure, why not? Are we gonna stay on the... Holy shit, we did not fall through the world. There is a spot on this platform, I've hit it like 2 or 3 times, where if you disembark from a vehicle, it'll just drop you right through this platform. Teleporter technician. On interaction, oh, it just tells you how to use the teleporter. Okay, fair enough. Yes, definitely visit, don't live. Hawaii's expensive, man. It's like stupid expensive. And yeah, like there was a... When I lived in Montana, there was a guy there that had grown up in Hawaii. And he's like, the job you're doing now, I was making like $12 an hour, $12.50. He's like, it's like $16 an hour. And I'm like, yeah, but rent out there's like $1,200 a week. So how do we do for total loot? 554, 91, and I started with like 900 ammo. I think we did pretty good. I do. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time. So make sure you subscribe. You ain't done it yet. Little white, black, and blue icon in the lower right-hand corner there with the wolf on it. Click on it. Click subscribe. Everyone, I really appreciate all the support. Once again, thank you so much for coming. And we'll see you in the next one on Friday. Same time, same place. Bye.